subscribe, that'll be it. So I'm just going to do this on the best statistics bot for Discord. It's actually a really good bot. It's called StatBot. I did a video on this a while ago. I'm just taking its thumbnail because I'm too lazy to make another one. So anyway, start in your web browser, get a new tab, so go to statbot.net. So basically you're going to get something like this. You're going to have to download the bot. It's pretty simple. Just download it real quick. It's really good. So if your server is growing, if it's like, I would honestly get this bot at above like 100 members. Because if you're like below 100, there's no reason to really check on your stats. You should be focused more on getting your members and getting your message out. But once you download the bot, you're gonna have to go to your dashboard. Your dashboard's here. So you have to do all the things, and it's pretty simple. I assume you've downloaded a bot before. So I'm just gonna explain to you like the stuff that's all in the stuff and how it helps your server. So overview is actually pretty simple. It just shows your member count. And my last video I'm gonna probably do is how to get members fast, because I got this in 2 days. So yeah, I will be doing that later, but it's not a big deal. So this just shows your members. So this one's probably the easiest thing to understand. Next, your messages. Your messages is probably the most vital part you want to keep track of, because if you can keep track of this, you can keep track of your server's activity and all that stuff. So this just shows how many messages, and then your average. Your average is pretty important because that shows a baseline of what you want to get past. So my average is 2,000, right? So, just because you have 1,000 members doesn't mean your server is exploding in activity. I think people really don't take into consideration that not 1,000 people are talking actively every single second of every single day. This is the wheel of activity. So for example, like Reed, Ansley, like Dan, stuff like that. So this is not really that helpful. I would be more focused on this. But this just shows, like, if you want to do like an honorary system, which is what we do a thing called honors. I would really recommend doing that because it keeps people active. So you can do like member of the month, admin of the month, you know what I mean, staff of the month. And it just gives people a reason to be active in your server, and I do really recommend that. So for example, like Angie would probably get staff of the month, stuff like that. Alright, next it shows what channel you have is the most active. So for example, chat has 52,000, and the closest thing to that's bot commands, and I'm just going to be completely real with you guys. People just spam in there and spam in there. Then you also have a thing called the other, so there's just every other channel that's not listed on this wheel. Next, voice. I wouldn't be focusing too much on this unless you're doing last to leaves and you want to see what hour you guys are on, or how many hours you have been in the thing for. So these are this is one last to leave that we did, like 150 hours. This is another last to leave and another last to leave. So they've slowly been like dripping down. But then you have your average and stuff. So we get an average of about 6.67 hours. So stuff like that. And obviously Ansley, I don't even know what she does in these VCs, to be honest with you. And this shows the exact same thing it did with messages. It shows which channel has the most voice minutes in it. I wouldn't be focusing too much on this stuff. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal unless you're doing active voice events. Next, status. This is honestly kind of underrated because it shows how many people are on, and it shows how much your server really should be getting. So if you got like this much on, this was one of our biggest days. So the more people online, obviously the more messages you're gonna get. So it's kind of just a cool thing to keep track of. And this is just online and all that. So this is like all of it combined. But it just shows like do not disturb idle offline and stuff like that. And I have so many people offline, it's absurd. Like, see what I mean? So that's why on the bad days, everyone's offline. That's about, dang, 9/10 of my members. So it's just a cool thing to keep track of, honestly. And then this just shows how much members you have. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to look at. But yeah, we get a lot of offline people. I promise my server's not botted. I don't know what's wrong with it. But once you get a big spike, the higher your offline is going to go because the more members you have to be offline. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, the more online, the better. And then activity and drill downs. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not buying or upgrading to anything on StatBot because there's no reason to. You already really have everything you need up here. I will go to the server real quick just to show you a few things you can do with StatBot. These are some really helpful things. So you can do S?U. It shows your stats, and this is just easy ways to just look at how active you are. So if you have mods and admins that you want to keep on a daily track of messages, so if you want your admins to get 100 messages a day, you can do S?U, then their username, or their tag is probably easier, and you can see where they're at. Then S?C, it used to be S?M, I don't know what happened to it, but this is how you can check how much you have without going to the actual website. And I would definitely recommend doing this over over everything I just showed you, to be honest. Everything I just showed you is just an easier way to just see your in total. But S?C is just a simpler, easier, faster way. So these are the two main commands that you should be worrying about and working on. But yeah, that's really it. I hope you guys servers do well. And yeah.